they have left him with no clothes on the street,
Wow.
where
Literally?
he
Wow.
literally no clothes on the street because he lost like something, like he's in a problem, and they have picked him up naked in the street.
No
Like that's
way.
ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so Tati, my first question is how have you been? And give me the realest answer possible.
I'm hanging in there.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I can't complain, but I'm hanging in there. I'm doing okay.
You can complain if you want to.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I I've had better days. We all have good days. We all have bad days. But I think that generalizes it.
Do
Just
you want
hanging
to
in there.
talk about what's been going on?
Um,
You don't have to if you don't want to, like I said.
so I'm a first time mom. So I'm a business owner. I'm a first time mom. I'm 23. Um, I moved back to New York like I would say 2 to 3 years ago.
Hmm.
So I've lived like a million lives, and right now I'm in a season of my life where I just became a mom. I'm balancing like work life, my business, my family, like just trying to make everything work and just finding balance is where I'm at right now. I have found pretty good balance. I would say my son's almost one, and I have a pretty big village, so it does make things much easier. But I'm one of those people that just wants to do everything, and like nothing is ever enough. Like I'm always like striving for more,
Hmm.
which is like a strength and also a weakness. So some days are just hard because I just want to have like my life 100% together, and obviously nothing's perfect. And in my eyes, it's like I always feel like I'm not doing enough. So right now, that's where I'm at. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we live in a world that where everyone is kind of like a perfectionist nowadays. Like everybody just wants more. I think to even have your life together nowadays is such an accomplishment in itself. You know, like to for example, I saw a meme one time that said something like, you know, being able to pay the bills nowadays is an accomplishment, and I agree with that. You know, life is
Yeah,
hard.
that's true.
Life is really really expensive, like especially in New York. So I think that like even just the ability to pay the bills and take care of your kid, like that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think right now, like just life is expensive, like you said, especially
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
Um, I also think that social media plays a huge role in that.
Mhm.
So right now, I was actually off of social media for like a really long time. Like social media is really toxic. Like it's
Yeah.
so toxic. Like you scroll, 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 and like you'll find something and that's just like so toxic. Whether it's like a stupid quote, or even someone just like posting like their lifestyle, right? Because everybody sees like content creators posting like day in my life, get ready with me, and it's like that's most of the time it's not real. Like, a lot of things are not real. Like I've been there where my life on social media looked one way, but in reality it was a different way, and like it was very different, like completely different. So I think that younger people as well get affected by that because it's like on social media everything looks so bright, beautiful,
Mhm.
and looks like everything is like life together, everyone's life is together, perfect, everyone lives like this luxury lifestyle. But what does having your life together really mean? Like that it could just simply mean you're happy. There's a lot of other things out there that I think are equivalent to having your life together. Like, there's so many unhappy people. And it doesn't have to be financial reasons. It doesn't have to be like you said, like it could be just paying your rent, being able to pay your rent on time. Like any little thing is an accomplishment. So everyone is looking up to like the same narrative of a perfect life or having their life together, but it's like what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that if we like kind of went around a room, everyone would have a different answer. But, you know, most
Mm-hmm.
people would say that being financially stable is part of that. But like, yeah, like you said, there are so many unhappy rich people. You know, it's funny because I was talking to ChatGPT the other day because I talk to it every day, and I ask it like, you know, I ask it for like its opinions on many different things, and I said, who do you think is the happiest person in the world? That's what I asked ChatGPT, and it gave
Mm-hmm.
such a brilliant answer. It said, first of all, I don't think it's a celebrity or a billionaire. So right off the bat, I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. It's like, you know, because a lot of celebrities, they have a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And same thing with billionaires. A lot of them run 7, 8 companies. And it was saying that it's probably an older person that has a really really simple life, maybe with kids, and that's healthy, and just like someone really really simple
Yeah,
life. So I think it's so interesting, like how, like, I thought that answer was really interesting because there's so many people who want to be rich and famous, right? And it's,
yeah,
I think I feel like we just have to be really careful what we wish for, because what we want isn't really what we want, you know what I mean?
yeah. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I I obviously I've never been a billionaire. I've never been a
That's
millionaire
right.
either, but I'm currently 23, and this is like very long time ago, like 5 years ago. Not that long, but it's been a while. So when I turned 17, I graduated high school early, and I wanted to be grown so bad. I wanted to get out of my mom's house. So when I turned 18, I moved out. I moved to Connecticut,
Wow.
and like I just moved. Like
Like
I just
Connecticut.
moved because of college. So I wanted to be,
It's okay. It's okay. I see you.
I don't know if it's like affecting it.
Right, I can see you perfectly right now.
Um okay. Let me just put my phone on do not disturb. Okay. So basically I ended up moving to Connecticut for college. I got a scholarship. I got multiple scholarships and I wanted to be a doctor, but
Ooh,
school was really expensive and it was like right after COVID. So I got accepted to Penn State and that's where I really wanted to go,
nice.
but I couldn't afford it. Like it was just gonna be way too expensive. The scholarship they were giving me was not even gonna cover like 10% of the tuition.
Uh-huh.
So it was like not worth it.
Uh-huh.
Connecticut, I got accepted into the University of Hartford and I got a dual degree scholarship for school.
Nice.
And that's why I moved there. So cost of living, I had a couple friends there and they paid like 1,000 to $1,400 in rent for like a nice apartment, a luxurious one. And that was like expensive there. It was like a expensive rent. Like an average apartment there at the time was probably like $800-900 for like a one bedroom apartment. So I just wanted to move out. I didn't want to like I did not want to live with my family anymore. I was like, I'm moving out. And I've been a business owner since freshman year of high school. My
Wow.
business originally started as selling lip gloss.
Oh,
Then I started selling candles. I started selling soap. Like I was making things.
uh-huh.
Skincare, like just naturally derived products. So I'm Colombian, very into skincare and natural homemade things. So that's what my business was. And then I ended up doing pop-up shops. I started selling on Shopify. So
Wow.
that's how I made money to afford this, right? So I started making more money. It was during COVID. I was getting unemployment money
Mm.
and I was just saving, 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 saving money. I decided to move. I went away for college. I did not dorm. I had my own apartment and I was on like this high. Like I thought I was just like up there. Like I thought life was amazing. I was just in college, living alone.
Uh-huh.
And then reality hit where it's like money runs out.
Yep.
You have to pay bills.
Yep.
Bills are due the first of the month.
Uh-huh.
And I just I dealt with so many things like just in regards to money. At one point I was in a relationship with someone that they allowed me to not work and they handled bills, they handled everything.
Nice.
I did not cover anything, which seemed very great at the time,
Uh,
but that came with a lot of different issues like narcissism, abuse, domestic violence,
wow.
mental abuse, like a lot of different things
Uh,
that I never spoke about. So it's like on social media, back to what I was saying earlier,
uh,
social media, it looked like I had all the money. I was going on vacations. I had cars. I had jewelry. I had the bags.
uh,
I was in college and just like living my best life and I had the perfect life. But then at home, I was dealing with other things that to this day, a lot of people don't know about. My family doesn't know about, and I don't speak about ever. But now, present day, I live like a more relaxed life. I got out of that relationship a couple years ago, and I have my son, I have my partner. We live in like a calmer neighborhood. I moved back to New York. I seek God way more now, and I'm very grateful and appreciative of more little things. And the little things is what makes me happy.
yeah.
It's never anything money related.
Uh,
It's really never like something luxurious or these things that seem so cool. Like that's never what makes me the most happy. It's always like little things and like just random gifts. Like for example, if my partner gives me flowers or just like leaves a nice message for me or something appreciative, it means so much more. So it's like I can only imagine celebrities with so much money. There's so many things we don't see and don't know. Like they probably aren't the happiest people. Honestly, it probably is an elderly person
Yeah.
somewhere with their kids, grandkids in a small home. Like,
I mean, the thing about celebrities is there are so many eyes on them, right? Like they feel constantly pressured to. I mean, every little thing they do, like take Drake for example, right? Every little thing that happens to Drake, half the world hears about it, right? So
or like Kim Kardashian, like
yeah, same thing. Like of course you're going to feel a tremendous amount of pressure and
pressure.
anxiety in their case. Um, so do you now I want to remind you you're completely allowed to say no, to
Mhm.
any question that I ask. Do you want to talk more about that ex-boyfriend or not really so much?
Not really. No, I don't really talk about that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we could talk more about I mean we can go straight into the addiction. Um
Okay.
I kind of want to hear a little bit more about like your college experience cuz you it sounds like in the beginning you were excited and you were happy and things were going well and then like things took a
Yeah.
downturn. So how did you like get out of
Um.
that?
Okay. So I guess I'll touch base a little bit about the relationship part, just a little.
Uh-huh.
And like friends, I would say mostly friends and also social media. So I moved out. I moved out. I started college. College was going great, and I wanted to be a doctor. My dream has always been to be an orthopedist or an anesthesiologist.
Mhm.
It's not my dream anymore. I just don't like how the healthcare and medical field works, so it's
Mhm.
not something I want to do anymore.
Mhm.
But at the time, I did want to achieve this dream so bad. So I moved. I started going to college, but I had bills to pay, and I did have my mom's help. Um, Basically my mom was helping me here and there with furniture, bills, furnishing my apartment. But I had just moved out, so it was kind of like she was helping me and I wanted to like feel like an adult. Like I just wanted to do everything on my own. I didn't want anyone's help. I didn't want anybody telling me what to do or how to do it or who I can have in my house. And I was 18. Like I was 18. I literally just turned 18 like maybe less than a month before I moved out.
Uh-huh.
I started college and everybody in school was dorming. I was not dorming.
Okay.
I wasn't dorming just because I thought it was gonna be cheaper and that I thought it was gonna be like easier. But it actually was harder because I had to go to school and I had to pay bills. So I ended up working for Amazon third shift and I worked at Forever 21. And then I also had my business. So I would come to New York monthly for pop-up shops. That's kind of how I made my money to afford rent and afford just random things like the bus, like a car, cost of living in general.
Mhm.
And it was really hard. Like it was really hard. It was really, really hard. So I was working basically 6 at night to 6, 7 in the morning.
Jeez.
I was barely sleeping. I was literally drinking like probably two Red Bulls every night,
Wow.
or
Plus
coffee,
studying.
plus studying. And I ended up leaving school. I decided to take a break like mid sophomore year.
Okay.
But pretty much it was just that. Like I was working, and it was just so hard. It was so hard. Like I just had like a lot of pressure as well from my family. Like my family, nobody has actually like graduated school for to be a lawyer, like any type of degree. Like nobody in my family that I know of has a master's degree
Mhm.
or bachelor's degree,
Mhm.
maybe associate's degree. I
Okay.
really don't know.
Uh-huh.
But I just had a lot of pressure. So I wanted to go to school, but I also wanted to live alone and I just wanted to do everything at once. And it was too much and it was really overwhelming. There's a lot of things I didn't share like with my parents, so I would just like cry every night and just like hope for the best. I would wake up tired. I had to be at school at like 8:30, 9 o'clock for class.
Mhm.
I started falling asleep in class. I started failing my
Oh
classes.
man.
I couldn't focus on studying anymore. And it's like part of it was by choice, part of it because nobody told me to move out. Nobody told me to live in an apartment. Nobody told me to do those things. I wanted to do those things.
Mhm.
And I feel like part of it was from what I would see on social media. Like everybody had this perfect life. I wanted that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be one of those business owners that lived alone and had the money and had the this and had the that. And it wasn't as great as it seemed. I had to pay bills. I had to worry about having food in the fridge, paying bills,
Studying.
just having money for everything myself. And I was 18, so then I was going to school. Everybody was dorming, partying, getting drunk, doing nothing but going to school and whatever they wanted,
Daddy's
basically.
money.
They didn't have to worry about laundry. They didn't have to worry about food. Like they would get food at school. They would go to school, sleep at school, wake up. They didn't have to worry about getting to school. They would just walk to the classroom, walk back to the dorm. Their free time was for studying and partying. And then everybody was in the same place. So a lot of my friends, they would invite me to party. I've never been a party person. So it wasn't something that interested me whatsoever. But at the time, it was just like I lived alone. They were partying. I had to go to work. I couldn't party. I had to do my laundry. I couldn't party. I had to go to work and go grocery shopping and do like random things that they did not understand.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't have that many friends either. So I had just moved to a new state. I didn't have friends. I
Right.
was just working, 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 and the burnout was like so crazy. And then some person came into my life who was much older. So they were in their late 20s. I didn't know that when I met them,
Okay.
but I was 18 and they were in their late 20s.
Mhm.
And they wanted to help me with groceries. They wanted to help me with random things that seemed nice at the time, right? Um, I was really young, and now in today's day and age, I feel like they took advantage of the fact that I was young.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was so nice to have someone to take all this like baggage and like relief off.
Uh-huh.
Um we ended up being in a relationship and the person was like very manipulative with money now. But that's what they brought to the relationship. Money and like gifts and all these things. And then that's like kind of like what they were like waving over my head all the time. So then it was like if I left this person, I wasn't conscious of this at the time, but now when I look back, it's like, wow, like maybe this relationship wasn't as serious as I really thought it was. But I ended up living with them, and they basically told me like you don't have to go to school, like I'll take care of you. Like that was the type of relationship it was. And I decided to take a break from school, focus on my business. So I quit my job.
Mhm.
I wasn't going to school because I wanted to take a break from school.
Mhm.
And I kind of lost myself. Like I'm not even gonna lie, I lost myself completely. I started living like this lifestyle where this person was always partying, always drinking. It was vacations, trips, bags, like jewelry, all these expensive things. And I was just around people that also lived that lifestyle. So it's kind of just like putting up this front and like this picture, everything was so picture perfect. But in the back, they were cheating,
Really?
manipulative. They had kids. So
Really?
I was a I was a stepmom at like 18. Like that
Wow.
sounds so crazy.
Uh-huh.
I was in a relationship with them for like almost 3 years, and that's how I ended up not going to school. And like I got very easily um like caught up in that lifestyle, and like I was just like indulging in all of that, those like things, like material things. And afterwards the relationship ended and it was horrible. They would not leave me alone. They were harassing me. They were like they literally were threatening me. They wouldn't leave me alone. They were following me to work. Like
Wow.
it became like a
Serious.
crazy situation. And it was simply because I didn't want money anymore. Like I started valuing myself more and like loving myself more and just like wanting things for myself. Like I wanted to say like I did this for myself.
Mhm.
Like I've always been that way since a young age, and then someone came and kind of took like all that baggage off.
Mhm.
And then it was like, who am I? Like who am I without this person? Who am I as a woman? Who am I becoming? And I just like went into a dark hole, honestly. Like I went into a dark hole while trying to find myself again. I was just working a lot, and I slowly crawled out the hole, but it wasn't easy. And that's kind of how I ended up like leaving school.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing. So,
No problem.
it's crazy because I've heard this like same story so many times of like basically a man paying for everything and then getting the relationship reaching the point where he feels like he can tell her what to do and tell her what not to do. And I'm assuming that he probably did a lot of like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. And I've heard this story so many times, but I'm glad you got out of it. And he sounds like a really dangerous person now. Now that I think about it.
So, I mean, it was more so just like if I didn't want to be with them,
Mhm.
then they would take my car that they bought
Yeah.
for me. If I didn't want to be with them, they would take everything they bought for me, like
Mhm.
even clothing. Like I'm talking
Wow.
about absolutely anything.
Mhm.
I don't want to get into it too much, like honestly, but
Sure.
it was times where like they literally left me with absolutely not one pair of shoes in my house. Like they made me get rid of everything I had purchased myself, everything I owned because I bought it myself. Furniture, like my whole apartment was refurnished. Everything that I like was mine, I no longer had.
Wow.
So whenever they left with everything. They left with car, they
Yeah.
left with TVs, shoes, anything like basic things that you need to live, food.
Right. Right.
So it was just like at the time it was just like a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they were just very manipulative with material things and like things that just at the time was just like not important because I'm not saying shoes are not important in material things in that sense. It's not because they were expensive, but just like basic living necessities that I no longer had for myself, unfortunately. And like now, present day, it's like for me to be able to sit here now, especially now that I'm a mom
Mhm.
or like in any relationship, I don't see me and my partner ever splitting up. But now for me to be in a relationship and just as a mom, for me to like put to the side anything I do for myself, whether it's simply have a job, just any of those things, it would be really hard for someone to come up to me right now and be like, "Don't work. I will buy everything. I will do everything."
Been
Like
there,
it's
done that.
really hard. When I was pregnant, I actually had severe nausea.
Mm.
So I was not working my entire pregnancy because I was extremely sick
Mhm.
and I physically was just like not there. Like I did not work and it was so hard for me because in the back of my mind I just had that. Like I never want to get to the point where I cannot hold like my own,
Yeah.
have my own. I never want someone to be able to tell me you don't have this if it wasn't for me or you don't have this because you didn't get it. I got it. Like I never want to deal with that. And my partner has never made me feel that way,
Mhm.
but it's something that's constantly been there where it's like I just I just have this standard now that as a woman you should always have your own
Yep.
things. Um just always, even if your partner is a provider, even if your partner helps out with things,
Mhm.
whether it's 50-50 or you don't pay nothing, like you should just always have your own as a woman. You just never know what can happen, like honestly. And it's like I was to the point where I could not afford basic living necessities.
Yeah.
This person quite literally took and stripped absolutely everything for me.
Mhm.
And they were not treating me properly. They were constantly cheating. I was going through physical abuse, mental abuse, like every type of abuse in this relationship and I was still there just because of that.
Uh-huh.
But now I realized that at the time I did not realize that they were waving these things over my head. I lost so many friendships because of
Wow.
this relationship
Mhm.
and I never thought those things. I would never see what everybody saw. Like I never saw that. And I was a very young girl. I was a very young girl compared to them. So maybe it was because of that, but now present day it's like those basic living necessities
Mhm.
you should always have for yourself. Like if someone if I met someone and they told me that, I would like I'm not even gonna lie, I would immediately tell them like you need to have your own things. Like
Yeah.
you need to have your own things. And everybody lives a different life, but it's like I just went through so much that I cannot fathom the thought of like not having my own. Like it's so hard for me to like do that, which also goes to what I mentioned in the beginning. Like I'm constantly trying to do more. Like I just want more for myself all the time. And it's because of like things that I've lived through.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with like having big dreams. I have big dreams
Mhm.
too. You actually remind me a lot about myself because I used to work really, really long hours, so I know what it feels like to be burned out. I know what it feels like to be an entrepreneur. I used to resell sneakers did that for 6 years. I was a realtor for 2 years. I was an Uber driver for 6 years. So, I'm also an entrepreneur myself. Now I have a full-time job. But I
Okay.
know what it feels like to dream big and to be an entrepreneur and to have like those like hard days of like going broke and like being scared that that you won't be able to pay the bills. But yeah, I
Mhm.
mean that's why there are a lot of women nowadays who say like make sure you get your own bag and don't depend on a man because of situations like this. So
Yeah,
thank you for sharing.
no problem.
Yeah, so let's move on to an even more serious topic, which is addiction. You mentioned that. Well, I guess I'll let you tell the story.
Okay, so addiction, addiction in my family is a hard topic to touch always. I grew up with an alcoholic father, so my dad has been drinking, I think, since like he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his father due to gun violence in Colombia.
Wow.
So his father was actually killed right in front of him.
Oh my God.
I don't really know like the circumstances around that. Like I don't know why it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I just know it happened at a very young age, and like he grew up with his grandmother. His mom was not really present. She remarried many times and like left to America, and him and his brother, so my uncle, they did not want to go to America. So he's been drinking since he was like I think like 11, 12,
Wow.
13 years old. And
Wow.
my mom and him met when they were, I would say, like maybe like 19, 20. So my mom and dad are a year apart.
Mm-hmm.
So they met when they were like, yeah, like in their like 19, 20, around that age when my dad had first came to like New York.
Mm-hmm.
He was in community college, I believe. That's how they met, like at QCC. So they attended like Queens Community College. They were really young, like they met and everything was great. And like I know bits and pieces of things because of like things my mom has now shared with me. But moral of the story, they kind of like grew apart. Like he continued drinking, partying, and that lifestyle of like getting shit faced every night. And then they had kids. So I'm the oldest of five. They have
Wow.
three kids together.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom remarried. So it's me, my sister who's turning 21, and then my brother who's 18. We're all 2 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So for my mom, they were both working. They were both always working. My mom would quit her job whenever she had us. Like whenever a new baby came around, she quit her job and she dedicated herself to working. My
Mm-hmm.
sorry, and taking care of us, quit her job. My dad was the one working.
Okay.
But he was always drinking still. So I remember when I was younger, I would just always see him get home like super drunk. But I didn't know he was drunk. I just knew he was getting home late.
Mm-hmm.
I just like honestly don't even remember what I thought. I just remember him getting home late. I like randomly remember bits and pieces of like times where my parents would be fighting and he would always be drunk. Like I would remember times that I'd wake up and see my dad on the floor, but like I don't remember why or like how. I just remember him being like super tired or drunk. Like I don't know, like I would see him on the floor of our living room or just like splattered there. And over the years, like my parents ended up splitting up when my little brother was, I think, like 3 months old.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because my mom outgrew that. Like she didn't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just like knew they were splitting up. Like I didn't understand why. And then as I got older, I just started seeing different things. When my mom ended up meeting my stepdad and like she introduced us to him, she never introduced us to anybody. She had another boyfriend before my stepdad, and I just remember my parents were on and off for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but he was always drinking. Like he missed many graduations, he missed
Yeah.
lots of birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
There was points of time where I remember I didn't speak to my dad for like a while, like maybe like a year or so. Like I don't know, like I didn't speak to him for a really long time, and he always had a job. He just wasted all his money drinking. Like he had a job to drink basically. My parents didn't live together. Um he was like renting a room somewhere and like he could barely afford his like living costs. And like over the years as I got older, I would say when I was like in middle school is when I started to see for myself a little more what my mom dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
Um I remember my mom just being like angry all the time and like upset all the time, or like catching an attitude and just being very like mean. Like I just remember her
To
being so
you or to
mean.
him or to
No,
both?
no, like to me and my siblings. Like that's what I remember.
Uh-huh.
But now that I'm a mom, she was just overstimulated. Like she
Yeah.
was dealing with a drunk baby father who
Yeah.
didn't help her for shit, and three children under 10 at the same time, and working like many jobs. Like my mom has always had a job and multiple jobs, and she's always provided for us. And I remember they would get back together on and off, and there was times where she'd let him back in and he'd like would not help with nothing. He'd just come to her house
Drink.
to take care of us and get drunk. And there was times where he would bring people over to her house, and that would always be the reason why they would end up fighting. Um they were just always fighting. It revolved around the drinking. So he's just always drank. When I was in middle school and my parents like ultimately finally split up, that my mom was like in a serious relationship with my stepdad, I still didn't really understand why my mom and dad couldn't be together. I've been seeing them on and off for like a really long time. And I literally remember it was, I think, my first day of like maybe seventh grade. I was like crying to my mom and telling her I didn't want her to be with my stepdad. Like I wanted her to be with my dad. Like I didn't want my stepdad around. Like why she couldn't be with my dad. And like I remember my mom just like told me no, like she can't. But I didn't understand why. Like I didn't understand why she just like randomly cut off my dad. Like why my dad wasn't coming over to the house anymore. Like why we couldn't spend as much time with my dad at home anymore, and like why he wasn't so present. But for a long time, my dad was really toxic with my mom. If they weren't together, then he wouldn't come around. If she didn't want to deal with him like in a relationship, he wouldn't be present. So I didn't see that or know that at the time, but now as I've gotten older and I like start to like kind of piece things together and see things like now as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
and now that I have my own child as well, it's just like wow, like she dealt with so much. I kind of understand why she was always tired, overstimulated, and somehow still managed to always be working, always make sure that we had whatever we needed, like a roof over our head, make sure to buy us whatever we wanted at the supermarket, every toy, shoe, everything we wanted, she would always buy. And now I appreciate those things way more because I have my own kids, so I know I would not be able to handle three children
Yeah.
under 10 years old. I don't know how she does it. Like, I give my mom props all the time. She does not like taking compliments, and it's like something that's a little like weird for us to do. But now that I look at my mom, it's like she is so strong. Like, she is so strong. I don't know how she dealt with that for so many years. There's probably so many things we don't know, and just so many things I don't want for my child and things I don't want to like deal with. Like now, present day, my dad still drinks. He no longer works, and he does not have a job. He can afford nothing. My family has like a really good relationship with my dad. Like our family dynamic now, my stepdad gets along with my dad. My stepdad is a sound engineer,
Okay.
so occasionally he helps my dad out with side jobs. My dad will get paid and immediately disappear and like get drunk. My dad only calls me if he needs money and is drunk.
He asked
Like,
you for money?
yes,
Wow.
there's been many times where my dad will only reach out for money, and it's
Wow.
like he only calls me when he's super drunk and he's like in his feelings or something in the middle of the night, and calls me, sends me voice notes to talk about my mom and how much he loves her and how
Oh, he
he'll
still
always
loves
love my mom. And he's gonna be like 50 years old. He's been drinking since he was like 11, and he does not let it go. So during middle school and high school, the way I looked at it was like we were not important enough for my dad to change. Like we did not matter enough for my dad to let this go. Like I remember times we took my dad to rehab and he signed himself out within less than a week. Like I remember times where he called my mom to pick him up in the street because he also gambles.
it. Oh
So
gosh.
it's like a gambling problem and a
Those
drinking
are like
problem.
the two worst addictions in the world.
He literally starts drinking, starts gambling, starts winning, so he's drinking more, and he just gets like on this high that he like nobody's like taking away. Like he just feels like he's up here. Like, and the only time I remember my dad being sober is when he had a girlfriend when I was in like middle school. He found a girlfriend that he was with for a couple months, and I guess he really liked her. He introduced me to her, and he was like clean for a little bit. He lost a lot of weight. I remember he was like running every day, maybe for like 3 months. I really don't remember. But he got clean for this girl. And then I don't know what happened. The relationship ended. So it was like the way we looked at it, my sister loves my dad. My sister has a pretty good relationship for my dad. My little brother has no relationship with my dad really. It's kind of like hi bye. When he comes around, it's cool. Like it's not awkward or weird or anything. Like we get along with our dad well, but like nobody reaches out to him. Nobody like defends him that much aside from my younger sister. Um, but he's just always been drinking. He's always been drinking. The only time he stopped was for that girl. So now it's like the way we've always looked at it is like we were not important enough for him to change, but that woman was, and she left, and then he went back to the way he was. Like his children were not important enough for him to be responsible, a responsible adult, and like be there for his children. Like he's never helped my mom with much. I think he gave my mom child support money maybe for like a year or so. I don't know, but I just know that he's never helped her with anything. Like and it's not cuz my mom has said it. It's just things that we like have seen.
Mm-hmm.
He's never helped her with anything. She is always the one helping him to this day. My mom is able to financially help out my dad occasionally. So if he doesn't have food, my mom and stepdad will buy him food. If he doesn't have money, my parents, like my stepdad and my mom, will help him out. If he can't afford his phone bill, they will help him out. He lives like with some very elderly lady that he's lived for a really long time. So he doesn't pay rent. He used to rent a room from her. So he doesn't pay rent. He doesn't have a job. Every little money that he gets, he just gets drunk. Like he literally gets drunk
Or gambles it away.
or gambles it away. And then when he gambles, occasionally he wins money or he loses money and ends up getting into problems. And he'll call my parents, like my mom and my stepdad, and let them know that he's like in some shit because of it. Or like that he needs money for his rent. And we kind of all assume that he owes somebody money or something's going on. And there's been times where he's called my mom because he lost money or somebody or something happened, I don't know, where they have left him with no clothes on the street,
Wow.
where
Literally?
he
Wow.
literally no clothes on the street because he lost like something, like he's in a problem, and they have picked him up naked in the street.
No
Like that's
way.
ridiculous.
Where did his clothes go?
I don't know, like somebody took them, I guess. I don't know, but that's things that we have dealt with. That's things that we have dealt with, and it's like my dad, he just keeps drinking to this day. He drinks. That's all he does. Like he has not stopped whatsoever. So it's like
How, how do you
I don't.
understand why he drinks so much?
How do I understand it? So kind of referring to like the stuff I mentioned earlier. When I was in high school, I used to smoke a lot of weed,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of weed.
Very normal nowadays.
I know, but at the time it was like excessive. When I look at it now, it was like excessive. Like I could not do nothing without smoking weed.
Mm.
Like I couldn't eat, I couldn't do nothing. My mom did not like it, so it caused a lot of like arguments and fights in my household. Like my mom hated it. She did not approve of it whatsoever. And it was bad. So I would like just always smoke weed. And it's kind of how I was like running away from reality, I guess. I don't know. I was so angry all the time. Like I never wanted to be home. And I really don't have a reason for it. Like to this day, I don't know why I was like that. I just didn't want to be home. I was so angry. I was so mean to my mom. I was so mean to my sister, especially. Like I don't know why. And every time I would slightly answer my mom with an attitude, like it was a problem. Like it
Mhm.
was a fight. And it was like a physical fight, or like she was just not happy. So I don't know. The way I look at it now is like that's kind of how I was running away from my house. Like I didn't want to deal with certain things. So
Uh-huh.
the way I understand him is like he's just so traumatized by losing his father. He did not have a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
His mother was not present, and that affects people, especially men, in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has like mommy issues, daddy issues. He has every issue,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has a baby mother who's always been there for him.
This
To
is
this
someone else.
day,
Oh, is this your mom?
no, no, no. I'm saying no. My mom,
Okay,
like,
okay.
she's always been there. Someone's always been there enabling this behavior. Like,
Mhm.
he's never hit rock bottom, so he knows he can keep doing all of this, and like, someone's gonna come to save the day. like someone's coming to help. And I just understand him as a traumatized boy that had no dad and really doesn't know how to be a father or a partner, because he was so young when he lost his father that he never really saw his mom in a relationship with his dad like for a long time. All he saw was his dad like with other women. His father left many children outside
I
of the
wonder if
marriage
his
with his
father's an
mother.
alcoholic as well.
I don't know. He
I
doesn't
wouldn't be
really talk
surprised.
about his dad, but I really wouldn't be surprised,
Yeah.
honestly. My grandfather had children, a lot of children with another woman. So that had to be before he passed away, obviously. And he was married to my grandmother. So it's like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
He was obviously cheating or something.
Uh-huh.
So my grandma has
A lot of cheating
remarried.
going on.
My grandma has remarried many times,
Wow.
and she was never present either. He was always with his grandma and his, I think, great grandma and his grandma from his dad's side. Like, he was just always with his grandparents. His mom was in America, like marrying men and just like trying to get papers and like just not here, not present, right? So the way I understand it is just he had no mom, he had no dad. He does not know how to be a family man. Like he doesn't know how to do that. And as much as he cares about us, before I thought he didn't care and we just didn't matter. I'm sure he loves us. I'm sure he cares about us. He doesn't know how to be a dad. He doesn't know what that means. He doesn't know what that feels like. He doesn't know how important that is. And he's been drinking since he was so young. So it's like it's very normal for people in Colombia to start drinking at a very young age.
Yeah.
I don't know about that young now. Before, I know it's very common. So maybe he was drinking with his dad. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say, and it's not something that he would talk about. Before, he would deny drinking. Like he would not admit that he was drunk. He wouldn't admit that he drinks.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I got older, it's something that I guess like would upset me, and I would confront more. Like I would tell him like you're literally a drunk. You need to get your life together. And like he would not like he would get so mad. It would be like we insulted him. And then now he will call us and tell us like crying that he's a drunk. So it's like I don't think he thinks it's okay, but I sometimes I don't understand why he does it. But the way I look at it is just like he does not know how to be a father. He does not know what it is to be a father or a husband or a partner, like a good partner, and he's just stuck as a child. Like he wants to be a child. Like there's no reason why I have more responsibility than my dad for like a long time.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's crazy.
the word man child did come into my head a few times as you were speaking about your father. So I have a lot to say about addiction. Okay, so because there are many different theories as to why people drink and also as to the solution. So you mentioned the word escape before. That's a great word. A lot of people drink as an escape to from reality, right? They can't stand the harshness of reality. It sounds like your father has a really rough past. Sounds like he really lacks introspection. He really doesn't understand himself very much. I don't think he even knows why he drinks. I think that if I were to ask him why you drink, I don't think that even he would have a great answer because he doesn't sound like
Mhm.
a very introspective person. But he definitely sounds like someone who drinks to escape, and like you said, he saw his father murdered, right? So I if I had to guess, he probably thinks about that a lot. He probably suppresses that a lot, and probably uses alcohol to suppress that memory a lot. Um, I was watching a recent video with Ben Affleck, and he was talking about addiction, and he said something really interesting that some people agree with, some people disagree with. He said that the number one cure to addiction is suffering. And basically, he was saying that the only way to ever fix an addiction is to hit, you use these words, rock bottom, and to eventually get to the point where it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I'm gonna stop drinking or stop gambling. Unfortunately, your father does both, and I half agree with that. So let me finish my thought. But it's interesting because it sounds like your father really, in his head at least, lacks meaning. So my understanding is that the number one cure to addiction is meaning and feeling like, having something to replace the alcohol, having something to replace the gambling, because it sounds like your father is addicted to dopamine. If I had to guess, he probably has a mental illness, could be ADHD, I don't know, could be, but I believe it. He definitely has PTSD. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
he has like anxiety. Like honestly,
Yeah.
he like I'm not even trying to be funny or anything right now, but he's a really big man. Like he's
Uh,
very fat
uh,
and he stress eats. Like
uh,
my dad will eat something right now
mm,
and it's like immediately be hungry in like 2 seconds. Like he's constantly eating
mm,
when he's not drinking. And when he drinks, he doesn't really eat. So it's like he just gets severe anxiety. Like everything just makes him anxious. Like he needs to replace
exactly.
like his anxiety with something. Like something needs to help him cope.
Exactly.
And he also like makes a lot of jokes. So he's one of those people that could never have any serious moment. Like it could be like one of the worst things happening on earth right now. Like someone could pass away right now and he'll be cracking jokes left and right. Like he cannot stay serious. He cannot face his emotions or like anything going on at all. Like he really masks his emotions a lot. He does not want anyone crying. He does not like seeing people cry. I don't think I've ever seen him cry other than when he calls me drunk. But he hides his emotions a lot. So I definitely think that it's what you're saying. Like he needs to replace that with something. And now that I look at the fact that like he was in that relationship for a little bit and he was clean, he knows how to be clean. He can do it. I'm sure he's capable of it, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't have meaning. Like you said, like the only time he's ever been clean was when he was in a relationship with that person. So it's like maybe that replaced that for him. Like maybe he had something to look forward to, some meaning in his life that helped him make that change.
Yeah.
Um I've thought about that as
Mhm.
well, yeah. So I definitely agree. And I definitely think suffering will stop the addiction for sure. Because if he was able to cope with his whole life, losing his father, maybe losing his wife and family, not having a job, like all of those things, maybe he would be clean. But I don't think he's able to face those things. I think those things really hurt him. And he's not able to admit that
Mhm.
and he has nothing else to live for. I think it's like if it's not my mom or like a person he has to live for, life doesn't matter. Like what does he need to change for? Like his life is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong.
I don't think that he feels like a sense of purpose when he wakes up in the morning. It sounds to me the word dopamine comes to my head too because I feel like he's addicted to dopamine. Again,
Mhm.
you know, if I had to guess, I would definitely say he has a mental illness, definitely PTSD. But yeah, I mean, I think that he's addicted to dopamine, and like you said, his ex girlfriend gave him that dopamine, and that finally like gave him, you know, something to wake up for, and it gives him a sense of meaning, and which you know kids should do, but apparently it doesn't in his case. Um, I definitely. Well, you said something so good. I forget what it was now, but um, yeah, no, I was just saying that he needs to replace it with something, right? So, for example, Russell Brand. You know who Russell Brand is?
Mm-mm.
So
I
Russell
don't
Brand
think
is
so.
a comedian on YouTube who he used to be addicted to sex and chocolate, and he also was coming to my mind when you were talking about your father. So yeah, it sounds to me like he just needs a therapist. Number one, I would say he definitely needs a therapist. That's what I was going to say that I forgot because he sounds like he's not in touch with his emotions at all. He sounds like
Yeah.
he needs someone, and I would be down to talk to him, by the way. But it sounds like he needs someone to help him get.
He will not have a serious conversation with anybody. Like there's been so many times I've tried to confront his addiction and tell him he needs to change,
Mhm,
that it's not good for him.
mhm.
He doesn't care. He will literally laugh and be like, "Leave me alone." And if he's not drinking, he won't be able to admit the fact that he drinks. Like now, when he's drunk, he will admit that he's drinking, that he's a drunk, or that that's what he says, right? I'm not even trying to insult him or
Yeah, yeah,
anything, but he refers to himself as a drunk.
yeah.
But if he was sober and someone said those things to him, he would be extremely insulted. And he won't admit that he has a problem. He will not admit it at all. He'll say he doesn't have a problem, that he is not asking anybody for anything, that he doesn't have a problem, and that it doesn't affect anybody. It doesn't bother anybody. And if nobody can explain why it affects them, he doesn't care. We've tried to get him to go to rehab. He signed himself up for rehab in the past because he was extremely scared
Hmm.
of the amount of drinking that he did that led him to an extreme hangover and signed himself out in like 2 days. So he doesn't like how it makes him feel, and he still doesn't. And yeah, like he's tried to change, but then it's like I think what you said, he has no purpose. Like he doesn't see a reason to change. And most of the times kids are the reason why people change, but not in this case. Like
No.
it's like
Yeah.
I think yeah, like I think possibly I think if my parents were to magically one day get together again
Mhm.
and that would be a reality for him and he knew that he was capable of that, I guess. I think that he might have the willpower to change. Like if my mom sat here and was like ready to remarry him or something and like I think that would be the only way. But I don't think that would ever happen. My mom is married, like she has children with my stepdad, like they're in a happy relationship. Um, so he probably looks at it like that will never happen. And if it's not that, it's nothing. So I think that's how he looks at it.
Yeah, and I also don't know how long his non-drinking would last if they did get together, because he sounds like someone with no self-control, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he drinks, he gambles, he's very impulsive is the word I would use. Um, so question, do you have resentment towards him?
Um, I used to have a lot of resentment towards my father, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that as I got older, it's changed a lot. Um, but I did have a lot of resentment towards my dad. In the past, I think that I blamed him for a lot of things I've dealt with. I think that I've have daddy issues myself.
Mhm.
I think that I've always craved like that father figure or the love of a father
Mhm.
and like seeing my parents in a relationship. So when I've been in relationships, it's like in my head I always want, like when you're in a relationship, obviously who doesn't want to get married? I mean, there are people that, don't want to get married and stuff, but I'm saying like the ultimate goal of a relationship is to have children, to get married, to live the happily ever after,
Uh,
right? And I think in relationships, I've allowed a lot of things to happen and occur and reoccur. And like I have not valued myself and I haven't had like the self-worth or self-love to move past things or not allow things or like put a stop to things because I find excuses for people. And I try to justify people's behaviors because of that, because I'm just like, this is wrong with them, or it's because of this, or this happens to them. This is why they are that way, like finding a reason for it. And I think it's because of him. Yes, I think that my dad's behavior is so enabled by everyone, and it's always been enabled, and it's always been like something that's like, yeah, your dad just drinks. Like, that's just how he is. Like, your dad's just a drunk. Like, he doesn't work. Like, that's just how he is. He's not going to change. Like, we have to let him just be, or like just enable and allow his behavior and like it's always been like my family, like my grandparents, my mom, like from my grandparents from both sides. It's like anything my dad has ever done, like disrespectful things that he's done or spoken or things that he does. It's like he's just drunk or he just drinks. He doesn't know that he's doing that. Don't pay attention to him. Like it's always been a reasoning behind it. So I resented him for a long time because of that, because I'm like, maybe this is why I am this way. Maybe this is why people are constantly not treating me right, because I'm allowing them to treat me this way, because I don't know what it's like to see someone treat my mom good. Like, I don't know, like that's my thought process before. Now I don't have any resentment towards him. I look at him like a traumatized, like you said, I'm sure he has PTSD. He's a traumatized little boy who was raised by himself. Like who knows what things my dad dealt with over the years that I don't know about and that he will probably never share. It would be very nice to like get to know my dad more on that level where he can let me know like this happened to me or I saw this or like even talk about his dad passing. He's never brought that up. Like I don't think he's ever brought up his dad to me like ever in any scenario, like not a memory, nothing. So it's like now I look at it that way. I don't have any resentment towards him. But it was a lot of resentment towards him, like why he wasn't present, why I've always been like this go-getter person. Like I've always wanted more. Like I've always like looked at my mom and like seen how hard she's worked and like how she's always had so many jobs and has done everything alone. Like I've always just like looked at my mom like I can't wait to one day be that person for my mom. Like I can't wait to be able to give my mom the world and see her not work and not do so much. Like my mom has I forgot what it's called now. fibromyalgia. I think that's how you say it. She gets like severe pain all over her body,
Uh-huh.
and it's like something with rheumatoid factor. Like she gets like it's not severe arthritis, but she's in constant pain.
Uh,
Like she's in constant pain now, and she still works so much. She doesn't sleep sometimes. Like she works so hard. Like to this day, she works so hard to provide, and she has a present partner who lives with her and works as well. But she has never let her guard down. She literally never stops working. She always says yes to work. She's never not said yes to work. It's now that she's like enjoying her life more, but for a long time her life was so hard, and like to this day she's in constant pain and still manages to go to work and then get out of work at like she does overnights, so she takes care of newborn babies.
mm-hmm.
She does something called postpartum overnights, and she's a doula. So she takes care of newborns all night long, which is not easy. And she'll watch a newborn baby all night long, be up all night, get home at 8 o'clock in the morning, and be a mother, be a wife, be a grandmother. Somehow helps me with my own child as well, and does so much for everybody. Like she's everybody's like superhero. Like
Mm-hmm.
she takes care of everything. She does everything. She cooks. She cleans. She works. She does absolutely everything. And never have I heard my mom complain ever. It's like when she's like fed up or like overstimulated or just super tired that she complains. But that right there, I've always lived seeing that, and I've always wanted to be able to take that away from her. And obviously, I couldn't because I was younger. Even now, it's like obviously I have my own life. I wish I can do that for her. I That's my goal to one day be able to like retire my mom at whatever age it is,
Mm-hmm.
so she can genuinely enjoy her life. And when my mom does things for herself, whether it's buy herself something nice or just go somewhere, like my mom just took her first trip ever to anywhere in like over 20 years, like a few months ago. I've never seen my mom take a vacation. I've never seen
Where'd
my
you
mom
go?
do that. She went to Colombia for the first time in like over 20 years.
Nice.
I think it was like almost 30 years that she hadn't gone to visit her family. And it was the first time I saw her take a trip. So it's like I used to resent him for that because I would constantly be working so hard, just trying to be able to be there for my mom. My mom was also always working, so I had to help her with my siblings. And I couldn't really be a child. Like I couldn't just go out with my friends to a movie theater, just do whatever I wanted. I had to be home with my brothers and sisters while my mom was working. I needed to be home to help her. And I resented him for that as well, like for not being able to be a child and for just wanting to get away from home. Like I just resented my mom for things that were out of her control. And I resented him for that as well, if that makes sense.
Well, your resentment for him was 100% justified, and I think that I'm really happy that you went through that phase because I think the healthiest way to deal with like these type of parents are to feel resentment for a time period and then reach the point of forgiveness afterwards. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And again, when you think about it, you can't forgive someone if you don't resent them first, right? And your resentment for
Yeah.
him was 100% justified, and so is your forgiveness too. But you mentioned that you had resentment towards your mom, and then I'm sorry, what did you say? Something about things that were out of her control. Um,
Yes.
so,
In the sense that if my father was present,
uh,
and my mom didn't have to have three jobs, maybe she would be a more present mother, and I wouldn't have to be home with my siblings picking up my father's slack.
so it was really your
Or,
dad's fault for your mom having.
yeah, but I didn't look at it that
Right,
way.
right,
Like, I never thought about these things until I got older.
right.
Like, my dad was never really a thought in my head. Like, I didn't have any blame for him. I didn't see, like, I knew what he did was wrong, but I didn't blame him for anything. Like, I didn't blame him for my mom not being able to be home. I didn't blame him for my mom always having to work. Like, I didn't think that way. The way I looked at it was just like, my mom's always working. My mom doesn't let me do what I want. Like, my mom doesn't let me do anything. I have to be here with my brother and sister all day, every day. My mom doesn't watch her own children. Like that's the way I looked at it. I never thought to myself, which is so messed up. But I didn't look at it that way. I would just look at it like, oh, she's always asking me to do something. Like she's always doing this, she's always doing that. And then I would see like my friends at school being able to play sports or go out with their friends or go to this place, go to that place. And I hated it. I couldn't do the same. So it's like those things I used to have resentment towards her, and I feel like I shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I like not that I despised my mother,
Mm-hmm.
but I had like this nasty attitude with her all the time. Like I was such an angry child. I just I wanted more attention from her. Now that I look at it, it's like I wanted more attention from her. I wanted more of a present mom. And she couldn't do that. She had to work so she could give us what we wanted. She had to work to pay bills. And she had to work so hard to do everything alone because she didn't have anybody to help her. So it's like, in all reality, it wasn't in her control. It wasn't her fault. Like in this economy in New York, three children before now, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she does it even now, but she does it. Before she did a lot. Like I remember my mom used to work as a bartender at night, and she worked at, I think it was State Farm, and she also worked for New York City Recreation, like cleaning parks and painting playgrounds. And she still managed to pick us up from school, drop us off at daycare, drop us off at home, and go back to work on her break, and then get out of work and go back to work. Like come home, cook dinner, feed us, and go back to work. I don't know how she does it. I was so messed up for being mean to my mom. Like I was so messed up for that. Now when I look at her, it's like, wow, how did you do that? Because I could never.
I'm also wondering how she responded. Like, did she ever say like, "Oh, well, it's because of your dad"? Like, how did she respond to that?
She didn't. She would just like, I don't think I even ever told her that. I never told my mom like, no, I don't want to watch them, or why do you have to go to work? Like, I don't want you to go to work. I never told her those things. But she did come home really tired.
Mm-hmm.
She would be like very tired, and she just didn't want to be bothered. Like she was just very tired. So sometimes her responses to things were just like not the nicest. Like she'd just be overstimulated. Like she would just we would talk to her sometimes, and she would just be yelling. It would be any little thing that probably wouldn't be that serious to tick her off that would tick her off.
Yeah.
I can't really pinpoint certain scenarios. It wasn't like she was just hitting us or yelling at us for no reason. It
Right.
wasn't like that either. But it was like maybe something a kid does, like ask a question too many times or ask too many questions. Like kids are curious. And she would just like go off. Like go off. And I didn't understand that. I would just be like, why is my mom acting like this?
Mm-hmm.
So now when I look at those things, it's like she was tired.
Yeah.
She was like really, really
She
tired.
was exhausted.
She was exhausted mentally. She was dealing with a lot. And then I probably don't even know half the things she dealt with my dad.
Uh-huh.
I do remember times where my mom and dad were just on and off, despite that she was working, and he still didn't help her with anything. And he would just come in and out of her life. So it's like, I can't picture dealing with that. That's so toxic. And then three children, and then working so much, and then having this drunk guy who doesn't help you with nothing around. But then it's your kid's father. So it's like, she obviously wants her kids to have their father present. Like any mother wants that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine that. There's days I have a 10 month, my son's about to be 10 months on the 24th, and he's still very small, and babies require a lot. I'm a first time mom, and luckily I do have my mom's help for a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
some days I work a 9 to 5. I have my business. I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to cater to my partner, to my family, to my home, and my son most importantly. And it's like some days I don't have the energy to do anything. Like I literally am just so tired where I can't even pinpoint what I'm tired about. I'm just so tired. Like I don't want to speak to anybody. I genuinely just sometimes just want to cry. Like I'm just tired, like I'm exhausted, and I have so much help. I have a partner who's present. He's has a present father who also works and covers most of the bills, and our family dynamic, my family helps a lot. His family helps a lot. We have a lot of help, and I still feel that way sometimes. So it's like I cannot imagine what my mother has been through and how she was truly feeling. But she never let it be known, like, I'm tired because of your dad. I'm tired because of you guys. Like, she never said that. It's just things that I've seen over the years. Like, she didn't handle the way she reacted to
Mm-hmm.
certain things in the best manner.
Mm-hmm.
And I have younger siblings. So I have a sister who's 10 and a brother who's 9, and they do things that, like, for example, I remember, like, if we did before, my mom would probably beat our ass or just like go off on us, like my little brother asking too many questions or asking for something that she's not gonna buy. Like my mom probably couldn't afford it, and that's why she was saying no. They'll ask for something, and my mom never says no. We'll ask for something for too many times. My mom will be like, no, no, no. I already said no, and then it's like it's a problem because we're
Mm-hmm.
still asking.
Mm-hmm.
With them, it's like she never says no. If she says no, she says it very calmly. Gentle parenting is like instilled in her household a lot now. She's never put her hands on them ever. She never yells at them. I don't think they've ever like gotten in trouble, honestly. And obviously, kids get in trouble for things when they do stuff wrong, but it's never where it's been like a punishment. Like I've never seen her punish them or just
Discipline.
discipline them in the way where in the ways that she disciplined us, if that makes sense. I'm sure that there's times where she has to tell them, no, you can't do that, or no. But the way she disciplines them is very different than the way she disciplined us. But I think it all correlates
Well,
for
she's
sure.
also with a different man now.
Yeah, she is, and she has a partner at home,
So I think that
and
has a lot to do with why she's much more calm now.
that
Oh,
that as well, yeah, for sure. And her job, like, well, she wasn't a doula always. So my mom, she used to work all those jobs. Now she's just a doula. She has her own business for a while now, and she was also doing that when we were younger. So she was starting that, like, she was starting like her doula career. Like she was getting into that field and like training and doing that as well. So starting her business, I'm a young woman who has a business for a couple of years now, and it's not easy. So she was also juggling that, becoming a business owner, and she's very successful now. She's one of the highest earning doulas in New York in the
really?
Tri- area.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's helped pilot a lot of like city funded programs for that field. So she's pretty successful in what she does now. So I think that also correlates a lot. Her partner, just her stability as a whole, in her old like her elder like adult life now.
Yeah, it's funny because what they say, what a lot of people say is that like the oldest child will usually get it the worst, and then by the time that the youngest, like me, I'm the youngest, is born, it's like the parents are already tired, they're already like exhausted, so they're a lot,
Yeah,
and they learn from their mistakes before. As far
yeah,
as
that's for sure.
so we passed an hour, but I do want to squeeze something in. As far as your father goes, I think enabling him just might make it worse. What do you think?
It definitely makes it worse. I think that if one day nobody was there to help and he literally was homeless, like I'm not even trying to be fucked up right now,
Yeah.
but I think if my dad was homeless, genuinely had nothing to eat and had nobody to call, he will either be a homeless person drunk on the street or decide to change.
Maybe.
I think that's I think that's the only way.
Yeah, I'm scared to even give a suggestion because I don't know what will happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No, I tell my mom all the time,
Yeah.
you cannot keep answering his phone calls. If he has no
Well,
money
especially
to
with the money,
eat,
like sending him money is,
if he has no money to eat or pay his bills, that is his problem.
yeah,
That is his problem. Nobody's coming to save him. The same way anybody else, nobody's coming to save them, and nobody's coming to save him. Like that's not okay.
yeah,
That's it. But she's not gonna do that. My mom,
too nice.
like,
She's too nice.
she's too nice, and everybody has love for him. Like everybody has love for him. And if it's not my mom, it's my grandparents from my mom's side or his mother or my stepdad even. Like it's crazy to say that, but even my stepdad, like everyone just genuinely feels bad because we know that he's gonna keep drinking. And it's unfortunate, like nobody has hope that he will change because it's that bad.
Yeah,
So I think that if they genuinely did stop though, answering the phone calls for food and sending the money and doing this and doing that, then he will change. Because there's times where they don't send him money anymore. Unless it's like they're paying him for work that he did.
which is
They will order him food though.
yeah, yeah.
They will pay his phone bill themselves though, so it's the same thing. So
Yeah, I like to believe that people can change. I mean, I know he's been drinking for like 40 plus years, but I do like to believe that
I
people
do
can
think
change
people can change too.
with the right help, with the proper help. I mean, he has to have the motivation though. Like if he were to seek a really good therapist, and if people stop sending him money, I like to believe that people can change, but it has to start within him.
Yeah, I think that anybody can change, that's for sure. I think that even myself, like I've changed so much, like as a woman, I have evolved in ways that I would have never thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people change drastically. Like I've
Right.
seen people do 360s on life,
Yep.
like
Yep.
literal 360s on life. Like I have friends that used to be involved in the craziest things who are now Muslim and changed their life
Yep.
completely, are in a family, they're married, she has kids,
Mm.
like she took her shahada, I think that's how you say it, and she remarried, like she got married, she changed her religion, she literally did a whole 360. And I have friends that have done that. Myself, like I'm such a changed person. But you have to want to change.
Exactly. It has to
You
start,
have to have the motivation, willpower to change.
which usually
And
starts with
yeah,
suffering.
it does. No, it really does.
Yeah.
It really does. You have to realize for yourself that what you're doing is wrong. And you have to want to do it yourself. Like you have to want to change yourself
Yep.
because you have to start somewhere. But like you said, it has to start within you. Because kids will make you
Mm.
change. Partners can make you change. I don't think that people stay the same forever. I think that we're constantly changing. Life is constantly
Yep.
changing, and change is very scary.
Yeah.
Change is very scary for most people. The thought of change is scary, but it's also beautiful, and like something good always comes from change, positive change. But it needs to come from within you. Like you have to suffer first, like you
Yep.
said.
Yep.
You have to see what you need to change and why you need to change it,
Yep.
and you have to just get that urge to want to change. Like you said, if he suffers and sees like, no, I can't do this, I need to change. If he says that for himself, he'll change.
Yeah.
But if you don't want it for yourself and you're doing it for something else, another person, or not for you, like you truly don't want to change, you're gonna either relapse or go back to the same things you were doing before, whatever it is.
Yep, you have to have the motivation to change. And, it might sound kind of corny, but I do believe that one day he will stop drinking. And maybe, that maybe that's wishful thinking, but I do believe that day will come. I don't know when, but I do believe it'll come at some point. Um,
I think so too. I my dad's drinking has definitely slowed down a lot.
mhm.
Can say that now. He still drinks a lot and he still wastes every penny on drinking, but he has changed a lot in the sense that he comes around more often, which is something he didn't do before. I also think part of that has to do with the fact that he's now a grandfather,
Mm,
and he wants to be a present grandfather, even though it's not easy for him.
mhm.
I think that he wants to be more present, and whenever my son is at my mom's house, like he'll call her, he'll want to come over to see my son. So I think that who knows, like I am hopeful and wishful for the change too. I do think that he can change, and I think he has it in him to change, but I also think that if everybody was there to support him and everybody was just as hopeful, then he would feel more comfortable
Yeah,
with changing,
agreed.
and he'd feel himself that he can
He
change.
needs
Because
the
I think that,
support.
yeah, I feel like he needs that support. And I think that he, I think he feels like nobody believes in him. And you, like you said, he has no purpose. So I feel like he needs a sense of purpose. And parts of me does think that my son has helped find that purpose for him. So maybe my son will be the reason he changes. Like I truly think that it's possible. I think that maybe as my son gets older, he may want to change more. Or maybe he might be the person to help my dad change, like literally speak to him, like who knows.
Who knows? Maybe when he's 10, they're gonna have some sort of like sit down, and
I
your
don't know,
son's gonna
but yeah.
say, "You, Grandpa, you gotta stop drinking. Who knows?" But I like to have
Yeah.
faith in people, and like you said, he does need the proper support. So Tatiana, was there anything else you wanted to say or add before we wrap up?
Not really. I think that pretty much covered everything. It was nice speaking with you, and thank you for having me.
Hey guys, it's Chris. Hope you guys liked today's video. And if you want to see more mental health videos, please subscribe. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. Peace and love.